Alright, what's going on everybody, it's Liam here and welcome to today's video on the channel. And in today's video I have a commentary for y'all and we'll be talking about the best builds for level 160 for a balanced wizard. Now as always in this video I go over PvP and PvE both respectively, so in this video I am going to be starting off with PvP because that is what majority of my subscribers watch me for. The PvE stuff will be a little bit towards the end of the video. I just want to say, so far on my balance, I got to Marshall this season, which is pretty good. And I actually got to Marshall without losing this season, which is pretty darn cool. So if you are a balance main, right now is probably the best time to get into PvP. Your school is very, very good. So, starting off with the stats here. Now, I am missing a couple of health jewels, but basically you have 11,100 health, which is absolutely nuts on a balance. You're at the damage cap, right where you want to be. You have really, really solid resist and really solid flat resist as well. Perfect accuracy, really good crit, really good block, and 52 pierce. Yeah, that's the same as like a death and a storm and a myth. It's absolutely nuts. Then we have really good arch mastery with perfect pip chance and 65% conversion. I typically do not rely on pip conserves, but my odds to conserve are pretty darn good. So how you make this work is actually going to be no surprise. You run the Aeon hat. I am running a shield pin right here, as you can see. I personally pin to death over myth. This is because death has more fundamental things that you cannot counter on a balance. For example, you can't really counter shield gambits that well. You can't counter drains that well, and you can't counter weaknesses that well on a balance. Compared to myth, it's kind of like they just stack, but you can scales and kind of play around them a little bit. So personally, for me, it's like death causes me more problems on paper, so I pin to death. And obviously, we have the Aeon cape and the Aeon boots as well. Now, my pins are kind of random. I haven't really farmed for any specific pins just yet, so kind of don't really worry about my dual school stats here. I know they're kind of scuffed, just try to ignore that. Then we have the Aeon sword. I was running the Nullity one for a bit. It is honestly pretty darn solid as well, but I figured I'd run the Aeon sword because that pip conserve is so much better, as you can see right here. Then obviously we have Aeon right there and Eternal right here. Now, in my opinion, this is hands down the best amulet. You get 2 flat resist sockets, which is incredibly important because obviously overtimes and try hits like scales. Not to mention, your block is just way higher than a mastery and your health, and you get some bonus resist and more pip conserve. So there's no reason not to run this amulet. It is really solid. If you have the Aeon balance amulet, you can just simply transmute that in the Novus Luis guy. Aeon ring as well, obviously nothing out of the normal there. And I am running this pet right here. This pet is really, really good for balance. It creates a lot of pressure that your opponent really can't do much about. If you Dark Pact a weakness off, you're already threatening a ton of damage, and if they tower, you can Hydra and use those blades and obviously combo with the 2 35 blades you see right here. So it just really helps and complements balanced aggressive playstyle in this meta. Other pets I recommend are probably a Frilosaur pet if you have it, but I personally do not recommend that in this meta. Definitely get this pet if you have it. If not, I guess you could go with the Frilosaur pet. Obviously, Clockwork Courser as well. This part is a little bit pay to win. If you do have like a balance sculpture or something like that, that is also pretty decent. Then I am running the Aeon deck to get an extra tier socket. Now, you could run, Void deck. I do have that, or you could run Eternal deck for an extra flat resist socket. But personally, I like having the extra health because the meta is very, very one-shotty right now. And having the extra critical right here is basically like an extra 2 to 3% damage on a critical. So I really like to not give up my, overall offense on a balance. And funny enough, in mirror matchups, I've actually won, I think, every mirror matchup on my balance, even though they run the Eternal deck and have an extra flat resist socket. So it just really goes to show how much the extra health and the critical will help you in a mirror matchup. So yeah, that is the balance build. This is the deck I've been running so far. I know some people always ask in my comments. I always feel bad. Y'all pull up to the streams and I forget to show my deck or have the overlay on. And the comments, you know, people always want to know what kind of deck I am running. But this is what I have in the main deck, and the side deck is a little bit scuffed right now. But basically a lot of steel words, a lot of towers. You're going to want a lot of empowers as well. I run 4 aura pops and 3 tri-shields of each respected spirit and elemental school. And yeah, that's what I run, guys, for PvP. Let's get into the PvE section of the video. Oh, hello, Kermit.
Yo.
Hey, how long you been here for?
Only for that brief. Probably for like a minute or two.
Ah, damn. Alright, so now for the balanced PvE build. It is honestly quite a lot better than it was before. I am still missing my balanced nullity robe, so I am missing 1 damage, a lot of health, and 2 pierce, but I will just add that in when I go over the statistics. So you have basically 11k health again. You have 208 damage, which is insane, and then 42 resist to all schools, and obviously you can pin with your hat. So really good, you know, resist for PvE. Perfect accuracy, really good crit, really good block, and you have 45 pierce, which isn't too shabby, right? You're obviously piercing a brace in PvE and almost a whole power shield, which is pretty darn good. And then 30% pip conserve, which again doesn't really matter when you just aura and kill somebody typically and they one shot and they die, you know. And then obviously perfect pips and decent shad rating and pretty good arch mastery. And yeah, what I'm running to get this is the Aeon hat again with the nullity robe again. I am missing the upgrade here. I'm probably gonna work on that. I know I can work on it. I have a lot of pixels and stuff. I'll probably do that a little bit later on, but those are the differences between these stats right here. I did add that in, obviously, when I was going through the stats, but definitely gonna want that robe. It is hands down the best robe. You could run the Aeon cape, but again, you are giving up 6 damage, so I do not think it's worth it in my opinion. Aeon boots, Aeon wand, obviously, nothing really comes close. Aeon ring and a theme. Wow, what a shocker. And then I am running the Dragoon amulet here. I guess you could run Eternal if you want, but I really like the damage per pip on the Chimera card, and in general, I just think it looks pretty darn cool. Obviously, we have the classic Frill pet with the set bonus on the ugly dinosaur mount right here. Pretty solid stuff, you know, and obviously the Aeon deck to get the most critical and block, and the Arch Mastery in PvE is pretty helpful because, you know, you have to get school pips now to like Rat Spin, Round 1, or Deer Knight, you know, yada yada. You guys know how it is nowadays, but yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you made it this far, be sure to leave a like rating and subscribe. It helps out a lot. We are almost at 3k subscribers. Let me know what kind of video you want to see next. You want to see the death build, the ice build? Let me know in the comments below. I will be reading each and every comment y'all drop. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for being here, and take care, guys.